Hello, this is Mrs. Ross, and I'm so sad that I can't be with you for our first day of Model Rocketry. It's going to be a little bit different if ever you've taken Model Rocketry before, if you took it last year. We're going to be getting into the history. Here, let me show you. We're going to be getting into the history of model rocketry and rocketry in general. We're going to be getting into the physics behind model rocketry, the different forces. We're going to be talking about altitude, and then we're going to be building and launching a rocket about once a month. So that's the plan. So there will be a couple of in-class days that we are learning about the science behind it, and then there will be a couple of in-class days that we're building and launching. For today, and today only, these are the groups, and you might have to come back and pause this page because it also tells you what pages you're doing in a brief history of model rocketry. So let me explain what we're doing. Uh-oh. Okay. So let's just start from the beginning. On your home page, you should be able to access rocketry. And then there are some things you can't see and some things you can see. So the first thing you're going to do is come to this industrial technology and model rockets. And you should only be able to see this one. So section 1. And this is a brief history of model rocketry. So let me open that. And you're probably going to want to download this so you can see it in PowerPoint. So that's this button right here. Is it going? Oh, it's going. So that takes just a minute. La la la. I'm going to be out for a few days, guys, but here we go. Okay, so I'll do enable editing. And okay, so this goes through the history of model rocketry from ancient to future. Okay, and what I've done is I've assigned you guys pages, like this is page 2, this is page 3, etc. And let me tell you what you guys are doing. So let me go back here. If you open activity 1 and you open this activity, this explains what you're doing. So I'm going to go ahead and download it because I like to see it in full. All right, so activity 1, history of space transportation system. The objectives of this activity are to identify important milestones in space transportation, identify individuals important to the beginning of space transportation, and identify the contributions of significant individuals during the early space stages of space age. You can read this. So this is what you're actually going to be doing. You're going to use the PowerPoint, A Brief History of Rocketry. That's this one. Okay. You're going to be assigned part of this PowerPoint to develop a time frame or a timeline. Okay. So if we go back to here, group 1 has pages 2 through 4. Group 2 has pages 5 through 10, and you can kind of see on and on. And what you're doing is you're developing a timeline that once all of the groups have completed their individual timelines, we're going to put them together to make a class timeline. So you're going to be using the large sticky note, post-it notes, and chart markers. You might want to do it in pencil first. And it would be great if we can do it like all horizontally or something like that, because I'd like for them all to line up. So we can just put them all around the timeline can go around the classroom. So that's activity 1. Activity 1 in section 1. Activity 2 is the history of model rockets. I'm not sure if you'll get to this or not. That's fine. But let's look at activity 2, and we can open this in PowerPoint. Okay. Activity 2 is the history of model rockets. Our objectives are to trace the development of model rocketry and explain the significance of model rocketry. And so the first thing that you're going to do is watch the Ignite the Imagination video. And then we're going to brainstorm, which means you just come up with all of the possible ideas that you can. So let me go back here. Here's the video. And what I would do on the brainstorm part It says brainstorm ways to use models in science. Let's see, I thought I had a discussion on that, but maybe I am just not. Hold on. So if you finish that, we'll get back to that. If you finish that, the next thing that I want you to do is here in Science and Model Rockets. And I think this is where, nope. Never mind. Let me go back here. I'll put the brainstorm in here. In this one. Okay, so I went ahead and added a discussion so that when you do have the opportunity to brainstorm models in science, it says we use models in science all the time. Just look around the science lab and you will see several. List at least one model used in science in this discussion down here in your comment. You are welcome to use the internet if you need to. So that's activity 2. And if you finish activity 1 and activity 2, the next thing that you can do, got to go back to the beginning. You're going to hit this Science and Model Rockets, lesson 5. And lesson 5 is on launching rockets safely. Okay, so let's go ahead and open the lesson 5 PowerPoint. That's going to tell us what to do. Okay. Lovely. Okay, so our objectives are to demonstrate proper safety procedures based on the Model Rocketry Safety Code, check the rocket for stability, and install the engine and igniters in the rocket. We don't have a rocket to do that to yet, but we will. This is the National Association of Rocketry Model Rocketry Safety Code, the NAR Model Rocket Safety Code, and you'll see it has several different parts to it. I'm not going to read this to you. It talks about the launch site dimensions. So how big does the launch site need to be depending on your the size of your engine? Most of our engines are going to be in the B range. We have some A range, and I don't think we have any D. We have maybe a couple of C's. So this gives you what it needs to be if it were the minimum site dimensions. So this would be feet, has a diameter, I believe. More safety code. More safety code. I mean, it's long. Oh, and then it's done. Okay, so what are we supposed to do with that? Okay, so we have this discussion rules. Where do you have to follow safety rules? Can you think of some situations in our society where rules are required to keep people safe? What reasons can you think about safety around rockets that are so important that the NAR has developed a safety code for model rocketry? And then what are some ideas for rules that might be included in the model rocketry safety code? So there's 3 questions here. Some situations where rules might be required to keep people safe. What are some reasons that safety is important around model rocketry? And what are some rules that you would put in? Now, I suggest doing this actually before you read the model rocketry safety rules, because what you'll find is hopefully that some of the rules that you think should be included are included. So there's that, and I think, and that's, what's that? What? This is not the right thing. Okay, I think I've got it worked out now. What you're going to do is you're actually going to open this activity sheet, and you're going to need to print this. What I would do is I would download it first, open it with Adobe, download it first, and I would print from here. And then you're going to use this sheet. You're going to fill it out. You'll be turning it in, but you're going to use, where is it? Here. The Model Rocketry Safety Code presentation to answer the questions on that sheet. Okay, so that is it. That is all. So if you, the two things that I want, or three things I guess that I want, that I'm looking for you to do today, and if you only get two done, that's fine, are the activity 1 and activity 2. And then come here and you'll do the activity sheet for C and obviously the discussions. So feel free to email me if you have any questions. I'm excited about this class, and I'll see you soon.